intuition, but understanding psychology and what's happening in the marketplace, and then how to bridge those worlds in order to do something that matters and that is successful by your definition of success. And I would say that my underpinning of principles that help anyone succeed when being underestimated all fall under this description, which is those who can win and succeed seem to employ and deploy a beautiful harmony of two buckets of characteristics. On one hand, deep humility and curiosity. On the other hand, not in conflict with it, but as a complement to it, real courage and confidence. And if you think of a lot of the things that Reed and Sarah shared up here and that Lisa was digging into, they kind of fall into those buckets. Having humility and curiosity to ask, to wonder, to stay close, to change, to take feedback, to give feedback, but the courage and confidence to take risks. But they're thoughtful risks. And so some of the stories that I'll share in this little bit of time pretty much fall into one of those two buckets. And the biggest mistakes I've made in my career with small businesses as an investor, as a leader, have been when I over-indexed on one over the other. When I over-indexed on courage and confidence and I was not tempered enough with humility and curiosity. Or when I over-indexed on humility and curiosity and just being grateful to be there and I was not balanced enough with courage and confidence. Those are the times that I have failed in the biggest, most unfortunate ways, and it's provided a lot of lessons. So even though I run these large companies today, it started from a very unexpected place. Grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. I am the oldest of 3 girls. I have 2 younger sisters. And when I was 9 years old, my mom came to me and she said, "That's it, I'm done, we're leaving." And what she meant was we were leaving my father. My father was and is a very good man, but at the time he was an alcoholic and a terrible husband and father. And so we left. And what was so fascinating to me about that experience, which as I have reflected on my life, when I get interviewed and people say, "Why you? Why you so young? Why have you been able to do all these things and someone else can't with such a kind of crappy background?" And when I reflect, the answers become clear. And one of the answers is this moment in my childhood when my mom said, "We're leaving." And at the age of 9, when she said we were leaving my father and she was treating me with kid gloves and expecting me to fall apart, I looked at her at the age of 9 and said, "What took you so long?" The business lesson in that, and it is an underpinning of what I believe is one of the most amazing techniques to win, especially when you're underestimated, is that the people who are closest to the action know what the right thing to do is long before the leader does. And so the trick in life and in business, as you move from being underestimated to maybe being overestimated, as you move from being the underground, under the radar entrepreneur, hustling, doing your thing with lots of permission to screw up, to now a place where you're a lot more visible and people to expect you to know everything and are holding you maybe even to an unrealistic standard. As you move along that journey, it will never fail you. And it will always serve you to stay as close to the people who are as close to the action as possible. In business, that's the transaction, right? So that might be the call center or the frontline employees, whatever your business is. Every business I've ever taken over and turned around, and I have turned around several, has only happened rapidly because I cut through all the BS. I did not fit into the moving train that is the typical executive or leadership role, and I went straight to where the transaction is happening. And I hung out there, and I don't mean hanging out and shaking hands and kissing babies and being visible and letting people know that I care about the people. I mean going in and actually doing the work long enough to where the cracks show, to where I can see patterns.